Welcome to the Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancavano. Let's get you to the pulse on everything you need to know. And today we are here at the beautiful Pilsener House and Beer Garden, located at 1422 Grand Street. You got to get over here because I'm not leaving, so come see me at least. And today we're also sponsored by Longshot Pistol and Rifle, Secaucus, New Jersey, providing responsible CCW training only to responsible owners. Visit their huge indoor training center and full-service gun store. Start your CCW training today. Longshot, Secaucus, and a person who's always on target is the person to my right, and she's back and looking better than ever, I might add. And that is Megan Ixim, our Places Insider of @Miss Giggles. Megan, great to see you again.
It is so nice to see you too.
Exactly. That intro was like, I guess I'm hungry.
That was a lot of words.
Exactly.
I feel like you must be thirsty and hungry.
I like that.
And I think we're at the perfect place for both of those things, if I don't say so myself.
She is unbelievable. she could take over the hosting duties, I'm telling you. So Megan, we are here, as you know, because you're here, over at the Pilsener House. You always mention to me that this is one of your favorite places to come to. Why is that?
Absolutely. I mean, first off, a big outdoor dining area, which I happen to love. I'm like, please give me the sun, please give me some space, let me eat and not feel bad about making a mess. And I feel like this is just one of those staple places of Hoboken. You know, it really has something for everyone. Great beer list, great cider list, which I think is something that's lacking in the area. And when you're really craving something that's maybe gonna stick to your bones, you know, that like really good hearty food, this is the place to go.
This is the place to go. And we have some breaking news for the audience at home because I think they just started this today as we're filming. They have a new brunch menu here.
Wow.
If you can believe it or not. And we have it all laid out. But brunch, you always tell me, is one of your favorite meals of the day.
I mean, how could it not be? You know,
Exactly.
You got drinking by noon, you have eggs, you have pancakes. I feel like those are the main food groups of any like 20, 30 something year old. At least that's it for me.
Exactly. And I'm getting to those late 30s right now where I'm not considered that, but that's okay, folks.
Included.
Okay, good. As long as Megan says I'm included, then we're good to go. We're really, really good to go. All right, Megan. Now, I am going to put you on the hot seat because this is your first time you're actually doing this. We usually have Daria and Krista trying the delicacies, but you know, you've been to the pier, you've been talking about several of your favorite restaurants, but now we actually have the food in front of you. Let's take it dish by dish, even though they're in two dishes.
Oh my
goodness. What do we got?
I am so excited about this brunch spread, and I'm so excited to be eating on camera with you guys. By the way, I guess it means, you know, I'm sticking around for a little bit. I don't know. But we have the bratwurst omelet, has some peppers, has some onions, you know, and it looks pretty golden and beautifully cooked, if I don't say so myself.
Absolutely. And by the way, you know you're in a German beer garden when they put a bratwurst in an omelet, right or wrong?
Oh, yes. Yeah. I think it lets you know exactly where you are and what you came to eat.
Exactly.
And then with a side of these home fries, look super crispy, some onions, some peppers. I feel like this is just asking.
I love potatoes, so I'm digging in right now, first on camera before.
Yes.
Crispy as could be.
Okay, all right.
Let me know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Just pretty good.
You know that
Pretty
I talk
good.
a lot on camera, and I can't talk. This food is fantastic. I mean, come on.
All right, am I going to do the eggs?
Damn right you're going to do the eggs.
All right,
Make
all
me
right,
curse and everything here.
I thought this was a family show. All right.
Let's do it.
Well, the eggs smell delicious.
All right.
And I feel like I'm somebody who is pretty judgy on their eggs, so let's see. All
right. While she takes a bite, let's see. The jury is out. They're deliberating. Stay tuned.
The sausage makes it.
Really?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely. I don't think I've ever had bratwurst in an omelet. Have you?
No. I have not. And again, this is like, and kudos to Sergio, the chef. He's
hi,
big,
Sergio.
Big fan of the show. We love you, Sergio. Sergio, this was a unique dish for the type of place this is.
Yes, it definitely fits with the brand.
Exactly. All right, I'm turning this around. Talk to me about this sandwich here.
So let's take a peek at this baby. I think it kind of feels like a two-hander almost. Okay, this is a messy boy for sure. And
I'm going to move the napkins away.
Some mustard, what looks like coleslaw almost, maybe like a German coleslaw.
Wow.
And then kibasa, which I love kibasa.
Oh my God.
Yes.
It's
I don't know if it's the Jersey in me or what, but love
going back to our Sussex County roots.
They always come up somehow.
Let me move that in for you.
All right.
While you dig in, I just want to say.
Oh no. I lost a sausage.
Oh, we lost a sausage. That's all right. There's
okay.
plenty more in there.
All right, I'm ready.
And this just goes to show you that they do make their sandwiches. They don't skim on the ingredients in the sandwich. She's giving us the head nod. Texas toast, right?
I don't know if it's Texas toast.
I don't know either.
It's a good bread.
But this is why I'm eating it, and I'm not eating it, and you are.
I don't know if it's a Texas toast.
All right.
We can say it is if you
All right.
like.
We'll just go with it on camera. She doesn't want to embarrass the host. What do you think?
Well balanced. And I love the mustard. It tastes like a homemade mustard.
Has to be.
Right?
Actually,
feel
the
like it
chef
needs to be.
did tell me this, that
Okay.
it is the homemade mustard that they use for the pretzel.
That's why it's delicious. That's amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
Okay, you know what I need though? I need like a pretzel.
No, to dip
And
the rest of the
yes,
mustard.
and then to use the rest of the
I
mustard.
love that.
Exactly.
I really do.
Exactly.
All right, let's
Okay.
move on. We have four
We have a lot of
different
food to
things
get
to
through.
try here. What is
Okay.
this little
All
skillet
right.
here?
Oh my goodness. Well, I believe this is the Kibasa Skillet.
Oh, as
Let's
if
see
you didn't
what's
have enough
under
kibasa
here
in
with
the
a
same-
sunny side egg, some potatoes,
Oh,
some cheese. Oh, that looks really, really good.
Speaking of
Let me try it
potatoes,
again.
I can't just
You're
have
just gonna
one.
eat potatoes?
No, come on.
All right.
man.
All right, we got some good stuff in here.
Okay.
And we
So
got
I'm
some
just gonna do the
egg.
eggs
Well,
now.
you want to get like the perfect bite, right?
Mhm.
You know, a little bit of every bit on your fork to
Exactly.
really do the justice of what this dish is offering. Of course, I'm
Right.
struggling to cut some egg, but
That's
All right.
listen.
let's do it.
Bon appetit. You know I'm going to get emails, by the way. Why isn't Peter trying anything? Because I'm not the expert. Megan's the expert. Oh. What is the hint of flavor that you're getting?
I mean, the egg is excellent.
Okay.
And then that little bit of kibasa, the potato, the cheese. This
Nice.
is something that's like your hangover food. You've been drinking too many beers the night before, and then you have to continue to recover from the hangover, and this is what you're going to eat.
So what's great is, you could be partying the night before here and,
Yes,
and then just sleep
keep
on one of these
going.
great benches outside. The weather's still nice. And then come and just have the brunch the next morning.
If only.
If only.
Yeah.
Last but not
Oh my
least.
God. I mean, I am
Talk
such a pancake fanatic.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
This one I am going to try, but I'm going to have you do the
Oh,
honors
no,
first.
you go first.
you're
Are you
the
sure?
guest.
Oh my goodness.
I am totally positive.
Okay, all right. Well, these look pretty fluffy with some
that's
fresh
important.
fruit, some bananas, some blueberry.
And by the way, Megan, the management team here at the Pilsener House tells me that they do brunch every single day starting this week.
Oh.
I mean, and we'll put the hours on the bottom of your screen of one day open, and you could just come on by and who needs to wait for the weekend for brunch? You can just come to the beer garden any day you want.
Oh, that's a damn good pancake.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right. You're gonna have to dig in.
All right.
All right, we're switching
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
We're switching here.
Your turn.
All right. So
I
Megan.
don't know if you want to use my
Why
fork and
not?
knife,
Do you
but-
want to feed me on camera, or that not like
I was like, I don't know. I don't know if that's allowed
Oh my God!
on this
Look
program.
at the cut. I mean, they are. You're right. They are just so fluffy.
They're moist, but they're
with
fluffy.
the fruit.
Yes, I mean the fruit.
Mm.
Yeah?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
You don't even need a lot of syrup on that.
No, just a little bit. Because they're nice and buttery too.
Well, unfortunately, we are out of time. So, Megan, is this going to be one of your new brunch spots on the top of your list?
Absolutely. I mean, weekday, bring my laptop, eat some pancakes, eat some sausage, have a beer while I'm working. What's better than that?
Exactly. You want to go to their website. You want to see the rest of their brunch items. This is just a sampling of it. And this has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for feeding me.
Of course.
I appreciate it.
Megan Ixim of @MissGiggles. Did you reach that 100,000 follower level yet?
I'm like 1K away.
Well,
Thank
she's
you.
99,000 followers, so make sure you follow her on Instagram, and let's get her up there. We at the Pulse, we're just looking to reach 1,000 soon. But we'll worry about that another time.
Don't worry, I have faith.
Exactly, Megan. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right, folks, we will be right back.
Welcome to Hudson River Care and Counseling. Hello, I'm Dr. Pam Pater-Ennis, the CEO and founder of Hudson River Care and Counseling with over 30 years of clinical social work experience in therapy. We are a progressive counseling and coaching practice with a diverse team that brings a holistic approach to clients. We offer support both in person and through digital platforms such as telehealth. Consider us a safe haven that you can trust with care for your mental health needs. Visit our website to set up a consultation today.
Peter Biancamano, your hostess with the mostest of the Pulse with Peter B. Folks, don't forget to go on our Facebook and our Instagram pages by searching The Pulse with Peter B. and like and follow us on each of those platforms. We're constantly updating those pages with previews of each week's segments and cool stories. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our email address at thepulsewithpeterb@gmail.com.
Welcome back. I'm your host with the most, Josh Sotomayor-Einstein. So happy not to be joined by Peter Biancamano, and honestly honored to be joined by Bill Spadea, radio show host extraordinaire, known across our state and beyond for making the common sense, conservative, libertarian, small government case for all the issues that matter to you out there. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Josh. Great to be here. A great spot in Hoboken, one of the great parts of New Jersey.
Oh, couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
So we have, there's a lot going on in our state and across the country right now. We got elections coming up.
Yep.
What's your take on the November elections?
That's a loaded question, right? So there's a lot going on, and I think the first thing that we're seeing is the cracking of the Democratic stronghold in New Jersey. You know, the Democrats have been in power. I mean, you look at the Democratic majority in the state Senate and the Assembly, you're going back to 2001. They've been in power for a long time. Things in New Jersey have not gotten better, despite the fact that we had 2 terms of a Republican governor. And I think that you combine that with what is happening with the lack of confidence in the Joe Biden White House, and we are looking at a red tsunami across the country. I think it's going to hit here. I think if I'm breaking it down, guys like Congressman Jeff Van Drew, who have done a great job, former Democrat, by the way, who supported President Trump, got supported by President Trump. Here's a man who speaks about common sense. He's a plain talk guy, and he understands that the key to victory is about constituent service, talking about parental rights, small business, lowering taxes, getting the government out of our lives. So guys like that, I think, are going to win handily, and you're going to have some competitive races. The 7th is going to be competitive. Tom Malinowski is in trouble. There's no doubt about it. I think Tom Kean wins that race. I think the surprise in this election could be the surge of Paul DeGroot. Paul DeGroot is a 25-year prosecutor, law enforcement guy running against Mikey Sherrill. A lot of people talking about Mikey Sherrill as a potential candidate for governor in 2025. So win, lose, or draw, she wants to walk away with a big win, and I think she is running against the odds because here's a congresswoman who voted with Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, and that is not popular even in New Jersey.
Rewinding 1 second to Malinowski, can you tell our viewers out there, if you may not know, out in TV land and on the interwebs, why he's had scandals or what the scandals have been?
Well, he's been in trouble. A lot of it has to do with money. A lot of it has to do with investments. A lot of it has to do with who he knew, what did he know when. And the bottom line is that when you dig into some of the details, you could go on for hours about what's gotten this guy in hot water. The bottom line is it comes down to money. It comes down to access to money that the average working person doesn't have, access to information that the average working family doesn't have. And when you look at that, you say, well, how do these guys in Congress make so much money while they're in Congress on a salary of less than $200,000 a year? It's the old fairness doctrine. When we think about fairness, when it comes to, I want my opportunity. I'm an American. I work hard. I'm paying my bills. I'm playing by the rules, yet the deck is stacked against me. Not if I'm in Congress.
We
easy ride.
We had Billy Prempe, who's running for Congress in District 9 last week, and we actually touched upon this issue, how everyone goes into Congress upper middle class or middle class, and they all come out multimillionaires, part of the 1%.
It's outrageous.
And you know, it happens on both sides of the aisle, but it happens a lot more on the left side of the aisle than on the right side of the aisle.
It seems that. And then but you take a look at Liz Cheney and the money that she made. You know, I don't know how many would she have? 3 terms, 4 terms in Congress, and worth millions and millions of dollars. Billy Prempa is one of the best candidates that the Republican Party has to offer in this state. Billy and Darius Mayfield, another great candidate.
Great guy.
And what's interesting is that the Democrats play the race card often, and they talk about the Republican Party and they go after the Republicans as not diverse enough. But here you've got in 2022 2 credible, serious black candidates who happen to be conservative. Funny, the press doesn't pick it up. They don't talk about them at all.
That's a story they don't want to tell. But there's also some stories in the Republican Party that we don't often want to tell. And surprise, viewers, you know I'm a Republican. But going back to what you said about Chris Christie and linking up to that, you know, I was a big Chris Christie guy back in the day when I was a young Republican. And for a man that beat his chest all over the country about how great he was leading New Jersey, he didn't spend or invest any political capital in getting Republicans elected to even county dog catcher.
I just had a meeting before coming on the show with you. And Josh, I will tell you, that is a recurring theme across this state. I said, look, we've had a Democratic majority back to the early part of this last couple of decades, more than 20 years of Democratic rule. We elected a Republican governor twice, but the debt exploded. The control over our school system of the NJEA also got more entrenched and more stringent and more onerous. But all the while, taxes have gone up. And the value of living in New Jersey has started to decline because it's so expensive. The problem with Chris Christie was he was all about Chris Christie. And, you know, he may have been a half-decent manager, may have been a tough guy telling people, sit down and shut up, get the hell off the beach. Great sound bites.
He took us in baby steps in the right direction and then paraded around the country in his, you know, failed presidential bid as if he took us in giant leaps.
Well, I think that the crack in the armor and where really we peeled back the onion to see who he really was happened in 2011, 2 years after he got elected, cut a deal with Steve Sweeney that effectively made the NJEA more powerful than they were ever. And he called it a victory, called it a compromise. We did it. I can work across the aisle. It was all about the soundbite of working with Democrats so he could set up his presidential bid. Had nothing to do with us. I'll tell you a quick story. My friend Doug Steinhardt, who was former chairman of the party, told me when he took over the Republican Party, they had 80 donors. 80.
Oh, yeah.
In a state of 9 million people. So what really happened under Chris Christie is
I was on the state
decimated.
committee. I was on the state committee back then.
There was no fundraising. And when they did raise money, they chose to spend that money going after common sense ideas. I fought the governor hard on the gas tax. I thought it was wrong-headed, mainly because the money was never going to go where it was intended to actually fix our roads. Look at our roads. It's a mess. Potholes everywhere. And that money then went to line the pockets of the connected insiders. So when we fought him on the gas tax, the Republican Party spent money to counteract my message on the radio. I've got the largest audience in the state, but there are parts of the state that don't get my radio broadcast. And this was before everybody was on the app. Now we're looking at 22% are on the app. I think things would be different today if we were fighting that battle than back then.
That's amazing about technology allowing people to reach a greater audience, especially when they're actually conservatives for common sense as opposed to, you know, Republicans in name only, rhinos, or conservatives in name only, or even Democrats, you know, although there are some of you out there that we really appreciate, some of my family that are common sense Democrats and will vote Republican most of the time, but just can't let go of that D for some reason.
I think you're going to see a lot of that. I mean, you're going to see a lot of that in the midterms. I think what you will see is people will stay home. Democrats will say, you know what, I can't bring myself to vote for Tom Kean Jr., who is a tried and true Republican, been a Republican all his life. He is not a populist. That said, he's going to be better than Tom Malinowski. But I think instead of voting for Republicans, a lot of Democrats will stay home. Now, the interesting thing is, a third of my audience are Democrats and a third are independent, unaffiliated voters. So the common sense message, when it's separated from either party, it resonates with people. They want to know that you're standing up for parents, standing up for small business, fighting for the average guy out there, the guy that is cleaning the dishes in the back of this great establishment, the folks that are taking the order, the guys behind the camera here. All of the people that work for a living and work hard do not have a voice in Washington, nor do they have it in Trenton, which is why our Common Sense Club has taken off.
Well, I wish we had more time to talk about the Common Sense Club and all the amazing stuff you're doing in addition to the radio and reaching out to people. But unfortunately, we don't. So we're going to have to bring you back sometime.
I'll be happy to come back.
All right. Bill Spadea, thanks
Josh.
so much for joining.
Thank you, Josh.
We'll be right back.
Peter Biancamano back with you. Don't forget to watch us on cable access every Sunday and Monday at 9 a.m. Optimum Channel 18, Fios Channel 46, and Comcast Channel 190. Also on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m., you can watch our show on our YouTube channel, and you can also binge watch all of our old shows. Who doesn't want to keep watching The Pulse with Peter B? We'll see you there. Welcome back to The Pulse with Peter B. And now that Josh Sotomayor-Einstein in his wrinkly suit that he bought from a homeless person on the corner is out of here, I am so glad to be joined by real talent. And he was on the show a few weeks ago, but for those people who maybe forgot, and I don't know how you can forget him, this is 17-year NFL veteran, Mr. Tony Richardson. Great to see you again.
Great to see you as well. I told you can't get rid of me. So
Amen.
Every time the camera comes on, I'm going to be here.
Exactly. And we're so excited to have you as our sports insider because it is week one of the NFL season here at the Pilsener Haus and Beer Garden. What better place to watch a game, by the way, right?
I'm so excited. Obviously, my roots are from Germany. We got some great German beers. Mine is over there, so I will partake a little bit later, but I'm so excited to be here right now.
Exactly. And, of course, he's showing off the bling again.
Yeah.
Much better than my bling, but we'll get that story another time. Tony, we're going to start with what we believe are some of the 5 top matchups in NFL Week 1.
Yep.
And why don't we start out with a team you played for, right?
Yep.
And I'm not talking about the Baltimore Ravens. I am talking about the New York Jets as the Ravens visit the New York Jets, as I mentioned. And this is Joe Flacco going against his former team, who nobody thought was going to he was going to start this game.
Yeah, to tell you the truth, I'm optimistic that Flacco's going to have a really good game, but it's hard to bet against the Ravens because I've played against them. Obviously, it's not the Ray Lewis of old. It's not the Ed Reed. But that defense, that culture, the way they run the football, obviously we don't know. Maybe the quarterback might get paid. Maybe he won't. But, it should be a very good game. It's 9-11. I think it's going to be a lot of energy, but I definitely might have to pick the Ravens, unfortunately. I hate that. This is probably not going to be a good take from my Jet family. Not going to like that, but I definitely have to go with the Ravens in Week 1.
Well, listen, what do they say? Your heart and your mind are two different things when you're picking in sports.
Exactly.
So, all right, moving on. This is another former quarterback going against his former team, the Cleveland Browns, visiting the Carolina Panthers. Baker's Brownies, right?
Definitely.
No more his Brownies. Now they're his Panthers. He beat out a former Jet for the starting quarterback in Sam Darnold down in Carolina. This is an interesting matchup because, to me, it's a toss-up.
Yeah. So this is one that's very, like you said, it's definitely a toss-up. I'm going with Baker Mayfield. There's something to be said and he has a chip on his shoulder. He plays with a chip on his shoulder, but I think there's going to be a little bit extra And the Browns are, they're ready to win. They were built to win, and they felt like they didn't get to where they wanted to go because of their quarterback. I think he has something to prove. I'm going with Baker Mayfield. I got McCaffrey on my fantasy football league. Robbie Anderson, the former Jet. So I'm going with Carolina in this one.
All right, T. Rich is just giving it to us.
I'm stirring it up.
Exactly. All right, moving on now. Tony, people say that this is the toughest division in the National Football League, and I think it got a little tougher this season. We spoke about it the last time with Russell Wilson joining the Denver Broncos, but the AFC West, and these are really two of the top teams in the AFC West. We have the Las Vegas Raiders. People still call them Oakland, but get over it. They're playing in Vegas. Going against the Los Angeles Chargers. It's such a key divisional matchup in Week 1.
Yeah, I'm going 1,000% Raiders. I think I've always been a Derek Carr fan. For whatever reason, he doesn't get his just due. They have so many pieces. They have so many weapons. And they actually stole that guy who I think is the best wide receivers, Adams from Green Bay. And that bond they had, I was just listening to a story the other day that they actually, I guess, went in a kayak accident together and they almost died. So when you have a bond like that and a brotherhood like that, it's inseparable. I'm pulling for the Raiders. And that's hard for me to say as a former Chief, but I think the Raiders are going to go ahead and pull this up. That's tough. I'm getting in a lot of trouble, man, on this show.
It's the second week. The first week he was being, a good,
I'm stirring the pot.
Exactly. I think you should. Well, and I'm glad you mentioned that because I do want it. We have some time here. I do want to talk about the AFC West because, that, like I said, definitely the toughest division in the NFL. Are the Chiefs still the class of that division? Your Chiefs?
Yeah, I'm going to say my Chiefs. Obviously, I'm in the Ring of Honor with the Kansas City Chiefs. As long as they have Patrick Mahomes, I think he is the best quarterback currently playing skill-wise. Until Tom Brady decides to go home at some point, then, Tom Brady's always the GOAT. But as long as you have Patrick Mahomes, obviously you lose Tyreek Hill to Miami. You still have Travis Kelce. You still have Eric Bieniemy. You still have Andy Reid. So I think it's going to be hard to knock them off because Patrick Mahomes, the way he operates that team, the way his leadership and everything else, he's doing everything the right way.
That's unbelievable. It really is.
Scary.
And, you know what's funny? I mean, could this be like the first time ever where all 4 teams in a division make the playoffs?
I don't know if it's ever happened before. I was in that division for 11 years, and that division top to bottom is very dangerous. And I think Russ is going to cook. I think he's going to have a great year, but this might be a year that all 4 teams make the playoffs.
Unbelievable. At least 3, right?
At least 3, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see who the odd man out.
Exactly.
Tony will be here all season, so you can send your emails. And
they're going to get me. I'm going to get lit up. I already know. Send it to his email address, not mine.
Trust me, we get enough, Tony. And we will forward it because we do like you.
I like it, yeah.
All right, Tony. Now we have to talk about the other New York team.
Uh-oh.
And I got to tell you, Tony, I don't like to give my opinion a lot on this show, but, the New York Giants. And everybody knows I'm a huge New York football Giants, yes. Correct. Everybody knows I'm a huge Dallas Cowboy fan, and I could care less about the New York Giants. But we are in this, in this area. I grew up in this area. They're going down. They're playing the Tennessee Titans, who I think is another really sneaky team. Yep. Do the Giants have a shot in this game?
I think they do because, as we mentioned before, Saquon Barkley actually went to the Jets and Giants scrimmage, stood up next to him like, dude, why are one of your thighs and quads bigger than my whole waist? So I really believe he has something to prove. And I'm an underdog. Obviously, I was an undrafted free agent. Saquon was a high first-round pick, I think number 2 or number 3 overall. I'm pulling for him to have a breakout year. I think they're going to run the football because that's what I know Mike Vrabel very well. In order to beat them, you got to play good defense. You got to run the football and don't turn the ball over. And I think the Giants are built to do that. So I'm picking Giants week 1.
Wow.
Yeah, good take.
Is that his upset pick of the week?
I don't know if it's an upset, though. Is that really an upset? Because Tennessee, they're kind of beat up. I mean, and I'm not sold on the quarterback. The quarterback threw a pick the first play of the game in the playoffs last year. So I'm not really sold on Tannehill.
Yeah, exactly. But then you have Daniel Jones on the other side.
Well, now right now he's the same thing. He's playing for a contract, and I think sometimes when you have those guys that are playing to earn the respect and get that contract, I think he'll play well.
All right. See, now I put my phone away because I need no notes for this last game because we spoke about them. The team that drafted Mr. Tony Richardson, America's team. The Dallas Cowboys.
Where's the star on the helmet?
Exactly. They have an extremely tough matchup. This is a rematch of last year's opening night game against, of course, the GOATs, Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is the Sunday night football game. Huge matchup down in Dallas this year. Can Dak Prescott shine against the GOAT?
Listen, I hate to break your heart because I know you're a Dallas Cowboy, and I know if I cut you open, the star's going to fall out. It's going to fall out. I am not betting against Tom Brady because it's,
smart move.
You just can't do it. And every time it's like, oh, he should retire, oh, he should go away. All he does is put up plays. I think I have Dak in one of my fantasy football leagues, but I'm definitely going with Tampa as the upset in Dallas. There's something not right. Jerry doesn't seem like the Jerry Jones of old. He wants to win a championship really, really bad, but I got to go with Tom Brady.
Yeah, and what's interesting? It's funny you mentioned that, and I agree. There's something that's not right. And could it be that Sean Payton is kind of hanging out, unemployed right now?
You think he's sabotaging? You think he's sabotaging Mike McCarthy to get the guy he wants?
and speaking as a Cowboy fan, I actually love the hire of Mike McCarthy. I still like Mike McCarthy because we had Jason Garrett for 10 years, and he was just awful, and I couldn't wait to get rid of him. I mean, Mike McCarthy won a Super Bowl. You could say, okay, he had Aaron Rodgers on the team, but you know who hasn't won a Super Bowl since Mike McCarthy left? Aaron Rodgers.
That's true.
So do you think that there's maybe like a Sean Payton type effect going on down in Dallas?
I mean, I think so. I think he's just waiting and buying his time. I think if Mike McCarthy struggles this year, even if he didn't make the playoffs or win the Super Bowl this year, I think he's going to be out. And I think Sean Payton is going to roll right in, and then all of a sudden Jerry gets what he wants.
There you go.
And Jerry always gets what he wants.
Jerry always gets what he wants. Speaking from a former player,
we know.
T-Rich, I really appreciate it. We're actually going to go in. We're filming this a little early Thursday night football to watch a little bit of Bills and Rams, right?
And I'm taking Bills and upset.
There you go. When this airs, we'll see if he was right or not. T-Rich, I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Tony Richardson, you definitely want to stay tuned to our social media platforms of when he's going to be on again. Thanks again.
Thank you, always.
All right, folks, join us next week for The Pulse on everything you need to know. I am Peter Biancamano. I hope you have a great week, everybody.